Do they think they need?
Steve Cochran on the radio, 144. This is 720 WGN. My pal Sean Stephenson's back. How long's it been since you've been on the show?
Probably about 4 or 5 months.
What's happened? Did you offend me somehow? Did you anger me?
Well, I just moved up in the world.
Yes, you're doing better shows.
Better shows, really.
Yeah. Nice. All right, so a lot of folks obviously know who you are, but we always have to go through the tap dance and tell folks who you are.
Sure.
And what your circumstance in life is. It brings you to this point where you educate all of us.
That's right. Well, my name is Sean Stephenson, and I was born with a rare bone disorder it's called osteogenesis imperfecta. With this condition, it's affected the growth of my bones. I'm about 3 feet tall in a wheelchair. It's also made my bones extremely fragile, so something as simple as sneezing could fracture a collarbone growing up. By the time I was 18 years of age, I had already fractured over 200 times.
You quit counting.
I would quit counting after 200, yeah.
Right. Which clearly you're the leader in the clubhouse. Has the science, because as you say, it's a rare condition, and therefore the funding isn't what it is for other conditions, has the science changed over your lifetime? Is there better medications? Is there kids that you deal with that have your condition?
Well,
what's the light at the end of the tunnel?
Right. Well, we find that there's always breaks in medical miracle science nowadays. There's different, what they call them wonder drugs that are out there to help increase bone density. You hear about those drugs with osteoporosis and stuff besides our disorder. They have made great strides in figuring out the genetic coding of the human map and what might be causing it. Because it's a spontaneous mutation. There's nobody in my family that has this condition. But I'm not on any medication. I do it all through exercise and diet for the past 5 years, now going on 6 years. I haven't even broken a bone. And I'm able to work out, stay in great shape.
Yeah, do you calcium load, or how do you do it?
No, it's basically a whole diet of vegetables, eating, drinking tons of water, getting my body good fluids, and tons of exercise. I exercise every single day. And I think movement is the best thing to increase bone density.
All right, fine. Well, it's an education for all of us, regardless of what your place in life is. Now, you always have something going on. And there's a specific program we want to address here. But let's do a little of your typical stuff, which is inspiration and motivation. And you work a lot with kids. But as you know, kids, they're little sponges, and they're willing to learn. And they want to learn, and they want to be inspired, and they want to be motivated. Grown-ups are a bunch of whiners. So let's talk to the grown-ups for a second. It's hot this weekend. It's going to be 110. My troubles, my car, my family, my stuff. Whining doesn't get you anywhere, does it?
Well, what I found recently, Steve, and this is from all these years of collecting data on human behavior, what makes people tick, and I find that the biggest thing that stands in people's way is the size of their butt, and that's B-U-T. I would be more successful, but I would be happy, but I would be in better shape, but. And these buts have been weighing us down. And so what we've created is a program. It's called Time to Stand. And it's teaching people how to get off your butt. So we have a program for schools, getting students off their butts, getting students to realize that they need to be responsible for their actions and be able to be successful in realizing their own potential by getting off their butt. And we have another program for corporate, getting employees off their butts. That's very big. If you can get somebody off their butt, and the butt is that one excuse or belief that a person has that keeps them held down from growing beyond that. You can get them off of that. You can create unlimited potential in your organization or your school.
And in your own life and in your own future and where you can take your life. But here's the thing. Human nature is what it is. And people are going to have butts, B-U-Ts, and excuses and all that. How do you do it? Do you get them to break the chain just one butt at a time?
Well, there's always going to be butts on this planet. People are always going to be sitting back wanting a justification for why they're not getting what they want out of life. And that's what the butt is. And for example, if somebody came to me and said, Sean, you really need to be exercising, more than likely I could respond if I wanted. I would exercise, but
I don't have the time.
But I'm in a wheelchair.
Oh, you're talking about you specifically?
Right, me specifically. Right. I'm in a wheelchair. And about 90% of this population would leave me alone. They'd let me sit back on my butt and grow weaker and grow more apathetic about life. And that's somebody with my condition. You take somebody else, they have to come up with way more little butts to keep people away from them. So somebody says, well, why aren't you exercising, Steve? Well, but I don't have time. I'd like to, but I don't have time. Well, what if I free up your time? Well, but I don't have the money to go to the gym. Well, what if I give you the money? But I don't like the feeling of that. And you notice it's never really about the excuse.
Okay, so let me ask you this then. Are there, and I think I know the answer to this, but you give me your perspective, are there people who want to complain and don't want to change?
Absolutely. And they have every right to do that. I'm somebody who comes on stage as a presenter and says, there are people in this audience that will not have what they want in life. And I'm not going to argue with them. I'm not going to tell them what to do. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to tell you, if you want more out of your life, if you want that better job, a better relationship, you want your kids to grow up in a healthier environment, you're going to have to get off your butt in order to be able to stand for something empowering in your life. Yes, there are going to be people that are going to whine and complain. And as long as they're sitting on their butt, they'll always be able to live their life as an observer. And as an observer, you can see what you want. And that's extremely frustrating, to know what you want and you just can't get it. And you can't get it because you're not willing to sacrifice.